communication is basically a mean for you to gather as much information about the person or the moving object before it enters your personal space. Yeah? You alright? Not too bored this way?
Oh, no, yeah, oh, no, sorry, yeah, no,
it's alright.
I'm one of these who like, it takes a 60 seconds.
It's fine, bro. You took a picture of it, yeah?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So, the first mode of communication is what I call long-distance visual communication. Okay? This is 100 meters away. So, I'll give you an example. I'm walking in the street and somebody 100 meters away from me turns from that street and is walking towards me. I can't see his face, I can't see his eyes. The only thing that I can see from 100 meters is his kinetic energy and body language, okay? And the clothing that he's wearing. So if I see someone that's wearing a suit and is carrying a suitcase, for example, yeah, it already gives me some type of information about the person. Who they are, where they're going, are they going to work, maybe they're businessmen, maybe they're fucking hitman, you don't know that, innit? But most of the time they're businessmen, yeah? Now the difference already from that long distance visual communication, 100 meters away, is that I can already differentiate the person that's wearing a suit and holding a suitcase from the guy that's wearing a military fucking, you know, combat trousers with a bombers and a shaved head. Already, that will give me, I'm no one to judge, innit? We all have different styles, innit? But already you can see who is more combative.
Yeah.
From a long distance you can see who's combative. From the kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Is the physiology, is the body language, is the way the shoulders are moving. So you got different types of body language. You got the guy, like I said, you got the guy who's not confident, who's walking like this, he's not even aware of what's happening around him. You got the guy who's just neutral, you know, like normal, casual. You got the guy who's really confident, who's walking straight, yeah? And then you got the guy who's overconfident, who's walking like this, you know. You see them all, right? You go in Manchester Town Centre, you see them all, okay? It's a good idea to sit down at the terrace of a cafe and observe different people and different body language, so that you can put them into categories. But don't stereotype, okay? If you've been in the security, if you've done some door work, you know, I've grew up doing quite a lot of that with my father and some colleagues in Eastern Europe. And it's all about, you know, you can't stereotype, you got all different types of people. Yeah. Sometimes you see the big guy like Carlos arriving and you think, oh fuck, and then you realize he's a nice guy, innit? But he's not, I guess. But, but you know, that's just how it is. So first is the long distance visual communication, 100 meters away. What you can see is the kinetic energy, the clothing, and the distant body language, okay? The second mode of communication is what I call short, distant, visual communication. Okay, it's 50 meters away. So already from 100 meters and from 50 meters, you had some time to gather more information about the person. Yeah. What can you see at 50 meters that you couldn't see at 100 meters away is, of course, body language. It's always a thing. I will talk about body language. It's very, very important. Okay. And obviously facial expression and eye contact. 50 meters away, I can tell if the person is looking at me. I can tell roughly what type of facial expression they have. I can tell if they're happy, if they're smiling, if they're just neutral, if they're pissed off. I can tell that already from 50 meters away. Yeah. So that's one thing. Okay. After that, you got verbal communication distance. Okay, 20 meters. So obviously, I forgot to say the second mode of communication, the eye contact, the facial expression. You have to ask yourself, you have to observe, does the person make eye contact at all? You see, when you're walking in the street and people cross you, very often you see some people, they make a short eye contact and then they look where they're going and they keep doing their thing. That's neutral. Yeah, there is no sign of agitation, no sign of aggression in there. Yeah. And so you're walking and maybe sometimes people don't even make eye contact. That's how you can spot somebody who's more combative as opposed to somebody who's not. Okay? Somebody who's not combative, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna kind of look somewhere else really fast and you're gonna sense that. Okay? Or you got the type of person who's gonna give you like a nice stare like this, a nice nod, predatory recognition. Okay? So it can be the confident smile, yeah, all right, bro, you know, and passing, yeah, predatory recognition.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so The third mode of communication, verbal communication distance, 20 meters away. Now we have words. Is the person engaging dialogue? Most of the time they don't. Okay? If you don't know people, you cross. I'm talking about Mr. Everyone that you know, when you walk outside, you have to cross people. Yeah? Are they talking to you? Are they engaging conversation or not? If they don't, they don't. They're not giving you any sign. Yeah? Now, if they do engage conversation, what are they saying? What are the words saying? Okay? Now we're going to talk about communication a bit more, but basically you got words and of course body language. Always body language. And body language is what you have to focus on all the time, because words alone don't mean a lot. I'm the President of the United States. Did you know that? Yeah? That's what I'm saying. Words don't mean a lot.
Yeah.
Words don't mean a lot. Yeah? You can lie, you can tell all type of shit, and people will not know unless you look at the body language. Because the brain is trained to look for incongruencies. Okay? So if you see that the words and the body language doesn't match up, there is a problem somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay? So, number 4 now is physical communication distance. It's from 2 meter to 0 meter. Okay? So this, we're already in your personal space. Okay? Now, physical communication is not necessarily going to happen. So if you're crossing somebody who's didn't give you any sign of aggressiveness and you just decide, right, okay, this person is alright to enter my personal space, I'm still going to look at what the hands are doing just in case, because I'm used to do that. And the person crosses me and that's fine, he's going his way, I'm going my way, and everything is cool. Yeah? There is no physical communication there. Now there could be physical communication. When you fight, it's still a communication. What does it mean? Fuck you, I don't agree with you, and I'm showing it to you. That's what it means, without words. It's physical communication. There is another type of communication. There is 2 types of physical communication. Either you communicate like that, either you communicate like that. Do you agree? When you love your woman, and it has to go beyond words, and you make love. Yeah? This is physical communication as well. Yeah? Now that we're not going to talk about that today. Yeah? But just so that you know, physical communication, distance, yeah, which is in what we're talking about here, fighting. Now, if we break down communication, I wanted to break down communication so that you guys know what to look for, okay? Words, spoken words are only 7% of communication. It's not a lot. You agree? It's not a lot. Yeah? Then you got 38%, which lies within the voice, the tonality, the volume, the pace. Okay, so how fast does the person speak? Does he speak really fast, or does he speak really slow? Is his tone of voice really quiet, or is his voice always jumping like this? Or, do you know what I mean? So these are auditory cues. Okay, this is 38% of communication. This is why people, when they do adverts, you know, for the TV or for all that, they have professionals that know exactly how the brain works, how the subconscious mind works, and how to be congruent so that people want to buy their product.
Yeah.
So the intonation, the tone of voice, the pace which they're speaking, and there is no hesitation. Okay? So if you see hesitation, that's a big sign as well. You agree, yeah? I'm looking over there, I'm trying to look at everyone. Yeah? So, and then you got the most important aspect of communication is body language. It is 55%. It's the biggest half. Yeah. Now, what is body language? It is physiology. What is physiology? Is the reflection of your mental and emotional state. Okay. So how you feel inside will reflect on the outside. Yeah. So if you feel sad on the inside, people are going to see the guy is not feeling happy. Yeah? If you feel pissed off, the guy are going to see that tenseness. Okay? So what is physiology? You got all different types of things that you can look for. Redness and paleness. Maybe the guy is really red. You know, when people get pissed off, they're all red. Their face get all red. Yeah? Or maybe they get pale when they're afraid or stressed. Sometimes anxious, anxiety. Yeah? There can be paleness as well. There can be sweating. Okay? If the situation is supposed to be normal, but the person is kind of sweating unusually, and you ask yourself why, it's a sign. Okay, I'm not saying it's always a sign, but you know, it is a sign. Okay, sweating, tenseness, physical tenseness. Do you know? Have you never been at a bus stop or somewhere and you see that guy on the phone, he's talking and he's pissed off and he's doing all these gestures with his hand? Tenseness, physical tenseness, a reflection of mental and emotional tenseness. Okay. Of course, facial expression, eye contact, we spoke about that before. Does the person look happy? Is he smiling? Is he neutral? Is he pissed off? This is things that you have to look for. Pupil dilation. I'm not saying that you will always be able to look at the person from far away, but when somebody has been taking a lot of drugs, you can see it on the eyes. The pupil dilation, the eyes are a bit closed, the eyes can be red, and the pupil is dilated. Yeah? And shaking. Yeah? Either you had a lot of beer yesterday, or you have a problem. Okay? So these are the things that you want to look for. So all these first parts of what I've shown you here, what I've explained you here, is situational awareness and a way to gather as much information as possible about the moving object or the moving person that comes towards you before they enter your personal space, so that you can use the OODA loop. All this works together. Yeah? Observation, all this is observation. Orientation, you orientate where to look. Okay? If the guy's got something in his hand and I can't see 100 meters away, but I can still see he's got something in his hand, but I can't really see what it is. And as I get closer here, second short distance visual communication, 50 meters away, I can see that the guy's got maybe a bag, maybe a blade, maybe a gun, maybe anything. So you have to be aware of that type of stuff. Okay? And then I take a decision based on the information that I gathered about the person. And then straight away I will act upon that decision, and once I'm done, I go back to observation. Yeah? Same thing with the color code, yellow all the time, maybe I see something, it's a potential threat, orange, so I'm getting ready, but it was just a potential threat and nothing happened, so I'm going back to yellow.